2025. Sydney, Newcastle, Cronulla,
This is the life of Saxon.
Parramatta,
Shepherd's Lookout in Canberra.
Second Park, Coogee, Saratoga and Davistown, Adelaide, South Australia. Final location video.
It was good to actually celebrate my 31st birthday here as well, and that was a lot of fun.
Saxon was alive within 12 incredible years. I look back on all these years and all these moments of how one dog could just bring such pure happiness and such joy. A huge shout out to Andy Joel for letting us feature their amazing track, World At My Feet, Self-Discovery.
I just want to say to Agent 95 in particular, thank you so much for filming your video pictures that you showed throughout this video.
It was a pleasure to be back for this.
Welcome everybody to the 2025 Look Back video. I am Granda, and today we are going to be reflecting, looking back and talking about what was the year of 2025. So this year has been really an interesting one, to say the least. Where do I even begin? Most importantly, I really enjoyed the fact that I got to experience so many different locations and really went far, to the point of different places that I don't usually go to before. And it was really great to share that with you all. Also, another thing, in the first time ever on this channel, I've actually went to 2 different states, which were Australian Capital Territory and South Australia in Adelaide. Also, I just want to say that this is actually the 15th anniversary of Granda being on all social media platforms. And I started way back when I was in my late teens in 2010. And I can't believe the evolution of when I first started making videos on here on YouTube to basically where we are at now. We have come so far, and I'm so proud of myself of the progression of how far I've definitely come in that. I really like to see how this is going to go today, because I definitely have plenty of lot to say. So without further ado, I think we'll get started onto the very first thing, which was talking about me and Agent 95's video. I really enjoyed the atmosphere of going to Shepherd's Lookout. And it was such a pleasure to share that with the most awesomest best friend that I could ever ask for. And I have a little actual surprise that I want to share with you. It was actually, I have a little voice recording from Agent 95 that they wanted to share their own experience from that video. Let's hear it right now.
Hello everyone, here's how I would describe my experience with Granda while we were at Shepherd's Lookout. During one of his previous visits, we were at the top of the mini veranda where we could see all of the landscape and the surrounding hills beyond, but we never really went down inside it. In this experience, though, we actually got the chance to really get in depth. And there were plenty of different experiences that we went through while we were over there. We were warned that there would be snakes in the outback, but fortunately for us, we didn't encounter any. We did encounter kangaroos in the distance. We travelled across the hills, walked along and searched for fish along the river, and we got a lot of physical exercise into it. We were really spent at the end. I think we were both sweating and out of breath. But all in all, it was a really breathtaking and immersive experience, and the fact that we got to really take in everything that we missed during the previous visit was really It really was one of the best experiences of this year, I think.
Well, as Agent 95 definitely explained, I for sure definitely had a good time with them, and we got to experience as much as we could in such a time that we had. But the hills, mountains, bush, wildlife, everything in between was truly, truly fantastic. I had such a wonderful pleasure to collaborate with Agent 95 in that experience. So thank you, Agent 95, so much for the time. It was truly, truly wonderful. Up next is actually a little collaboration that I did with Andy Joel, who's actually from Adelaide, and I had the pleasure to got to meet them when I arrived. Actually, I do thank them for actually driving me from the airport to the hotel room. And it was such an incredible, wonderful experience to actually use two songs of theirs, which was Self-Discovery and World at My Feet. Those two songs were truly, truly an amazing songs to actually using, and they fitted the criteria of the location very well. So I was so overly joyful when I got asked if I could use their songs, and I said hands down yes. Because a while back, around 3 years ago, I actually got to use one of Andy Joel's songs for a beach challenge video. I'll leave that video in the link description below if you want to go check that out for yourself. Really, really, really good song. Thank you, Andy Joel, so much for allowing me to use your material. It was really, really good, and I got to dive into actually experiencing such a lovely place like Adelaide for the first time. And what I found about Adelaide was just the atmosphere, the buildings, the beaches, the walking trail, everything about it in that week that I was there was truly the best. And I actually got to even experience what Adelaide has to offer. I reckon it was such a good time that I will be definitely going back there again in the future. Really, really memorizing to see a different state. And I've actually will say here right now, in 2012, I got to travel around Australia at 17 years old. So I've done Sydney, I've done Brisbane, I've done Darwin, and I got to see Perth. And that was the last city that I got to see before I head back. So I never actually got to see Adelaide nor Melbourne, but over the years, I did get to see Melbourne about 4 times, and now I have actually got to experience Adelaide. It was such incredible to now I can say that I've done all of the bigger part of Australia. My final destination or city itself is Tasmania, Hobart. So will there be a future video on that? Only time will tell, but the experience of that was truly, truly a wonderful one. Up next is something to my heart, and I was so blessed for this experience to actually share something with you all. And so back in April, I actually got to dedicate a video to a dog that was so beautiful, so, so lovely and sweet, named Saxon. Back in April was actually 5 years since the passing of Saxon. And so I really wanted to come up with a design where I felt it was time to actually give a dedication to them and their long 12 years of a life that they lived on this earth. And so in that experience, I really got to reflect, look back, and really enjoy the time being with this dog, really take in the memories that I had. And as you watch that video, you can see all the different old video clips, pictures, me as very, very young. And so Saxon came into my life at a very, very vulnerable time for me when I was going through high school to into my 20s as well. So those experiences will always be in my heart and in my head forever. I really enjoyed while Saxon was being here on earth, how much joy and happiness. And it was so sweet to talk about the eulogy towards the end of the video. So I really, really recommend you guys need to watch that. It was just a blessing to be able to talk about such a dog that had such a wonderful life, and a very lovely, colorful dog, mind you, with all the little spots. So it was a really great time and experience in that moment to talk about Saxon and how they were. I would like to also say that we have got a very interesting theme, as what it's been is the gold and silver, which I've called it the new era. And so this new era is basically now diving into my 30s now, as I actually got to celebrate my 31st birthday in Adelaide. And behind the scenes, while I was actually in Adelaide, got to live stream me actually doing some cool, funky, iconic dance moves, which leads into the actual next topic of what I have is one fantastic TikTok community. And so in this new sort of segment thing that I'm wanting to do is actually bring up a lot of the people mentioned in this video and give them such a big thank you to all the support and continuous gratitude that they have done for me on my TikTok live streams. So without further ado, I'm going to begin diving into the admins, the mods, and other people who have joined the live and tapped and given gifts and everything in between. So for the first two, the two admins, now these are the people that I go to discuss on things or how the live's going on TikTok. So a little backstory before I get into all of that. I started returning onto TikTok around January of this year, and I didn't start live streaming until July, but I was always posting videos. So once July hit, I was able to go live streaming, and that's when I started getting all different kinds of people around the world and different states of Australia joining my lives. It was a great experience to finally dive back into this, because last year I had to deactivate my TikTok, which I did dive and talked about this in the last look back video. If you want to check that out, I will also leave that video in the description. And therefore, I didn't know if I was ever going to come back to TikTok or not because of that experience, but I had so many people behind the scenes wanted me back. So it was such a pleasure to actually return to the app and give it that second chance and see where it will go. And actually, I will say this year was actually a lot more positive experience to dive into actually returning. And so, as I mentioned, July onwards, I have been live streaming, I've been dancing, I've actually done meal prep lives, cooking lives, you name it. I have really had one of the best experiences ever to be able to do that with everybody. And so, without further ado, I'm going to introduce the people who have actually supported me doing TikTok lives in that experience. So for the admins, they are Lux and Juan. I am so absolutely happy and over the moon that these two are my admins. They have been truly fantastic support, including, as I'm going to mention a little bit later, through mental health well-being that I've been going through this year too. And they have been there every step of the way, supporting me, helping me, even behind the scenes to help me try and discuss things to make things better for the TikTok lives. And they have just been such an incredible experience to work with in that sense, and also making the most bestest friends that I could ask for. Lux I knew for about 5 years when I started from my first TikTok account, and they have been so helpful to tap the lives, as same for Juan, who I actually just met in July. And those two have really been a great support system through this experience, and I take the pleasure of thanking them so much for all the support that they've done in this time of helping me, making the lives feel truly iconic. Upcoming next is the mods. So mods, you're wondering what is a mod? So it's a moderator where someone looks at my live streams, get rid of any of the negative like bullying or people saying not nice comments, and just being the security of the live. Now, I do want to shout out 3 people right now. They are Jane, Pastel, and Mixed Socks. So these 3 people individually have actually done so much work to make the live safe in my live stream. And in particularly Jane and Pastel and Mixed Socks in particular have really helped just doing that. Their amazingness to the continuing contribution and support has been truly wonderful, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart. on all the help and support that they have done for me. Without your guys' gratitude, I wouldn't know where I would be right now on keeping the lives going as much as they've done. And also the fact of just the continuous, keep it up, you're doing really well behind the scenes with personal messages I have experienced with them have really helped me keeping on. And therefore, this has actually helped me become much better as a TikTok live streamer along the way. So thank you so much, Jane, Pastel and Nick Socks, for your wonderful continuous support on the live stream. I have this piece of paper here, and this is what I look to know what I'm up to in discussing the look back videos. And so I have a variety of people I also would like to shout out to, and I will leave their pictures and usernames on the screen. So here we go. I want to give a big, massive thanks to Nathan, Andrew, Rebecca, Brett, Philly, Joey Style, John, Julie, Kayla, Luke, Maddie, Mrs. Fieldman, Natsky, Nick, Petros, Daz, Scott, Tim, Winter, Carolyn, Josh, and Caleb. Those people mentioned, I am so blessed to have known them, whether if it's been quite a few months or if they knew me from my last TikTok account. The fact that they were able to come on and to support me doing what I do the most makes all the difference on why I continuously TikTok live stream. So I am so forever appreciative by them and all the conversations I too have had with them. We've truly made a wonderful Granda Iconics community on there, which I call occasionally over on TikTok. So if you would like to join my live streams, as that's where I got to really exclusively talk about and diving stuff, then I will leave my TikTok also in the description below, because I feel like it's a great way you can get to know me more. And I know I don't post quite a lot, although mind you, this year has been really, really a good year where I got to post a lot of throwback TikTok compilation videos that were from my original TikTok account to like here into this big compilation where you can check them out and watch them over and over again. But also the fact I got to upload a lot of interesting locations too. There's definitely been a well-balanced criteria, so to speak, on how everything placed exactly where it needed to be. And now some of those I have written down for months on end to get to where they are today. So overall, I really am so grateful for my TikTok community. And in 2026, I am looking forward to continuing that. We're currently been listening to different artists' music albums and also been doing some requests along the way. So if you want to request your song, definitely stay tuned to the TikTok Granda Lives, as they're really, really fun and engaging, and you'll definitely get a wonderful experience there with so many awesome vibing people that I talk to. So thank you everybody on TikTok. I really, really appreciate all that you do, and thank you for tapping and gifting all the gifts and also just being there in general, supporting, talking to me, keeping it going, because without you guys, none of this would ever be possibly done. So I can't wait to see you all in the new year. Up next is about the podcast series, Life Chats with Granda. Now, this is just going to be a very quick summary, but I actually did a whole series 2 recap. If you want to check that podcast episode out, I'll leave it down below. Basically, it was really good to have such incredible guests join throughout the second series. I was really shocked on how many more came on to the podcast and really got to dive into talking about different topics, mental well-beings and other types of stuff as well. Overall, series 2 was a really wonderful time. I really got to talk about different things, which actually got to help me as a human being understand things a lot more in that sense. So I definitely got to really enjoy the stories and the atmosphere of each person who was on. Now, I am going to be saying there is a confirmed series 3 podcast, which I'm so looking forward to expressing plenty more interesting guests that are going to be on that for 2026. There's just so many different varieties of different people, and I already have a few lined up in mind who are going to be going onto this third series. So I can't wait for all of you guys to hear those episodes in the future. It's going to be truly, truly a best time that you're going to definitely, if you like podcast series, then this one's definitely going to be one to check out. There's something I have to address with everybody that I feel like if I can be giving the best possible advice, then I'm going to be doing it. So, beginning of this year, now my headspace, I will admit, wasn't in the best place for me to have this experience, but I feel like it was best to address it here on the video because it was something of a learning curve, and I hope that this will make you guys be more cautious when talking to people online. So at the beginning of this year, a really horrendous experience happened to me where I fell into a love scam. And so I'm going to be talking about that right now. Beginning of this year, I was on TikTok and I was just scrolling through and I came across this person, which I thought was authentic and real. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to have conversation. Now, bear in mind, I actually am very good in regards of catfishes and scammers and all that, but somehow this person got me very, very well. And we were talking, everything was going well. I saw photos of them and that was that. So one time they said they wanted to meet up and I was like, yep, sure, let's do this. Now this person knew a specific suburb or where I am from. And so I actually took a train to go see them. And when I got there, I was expecting to meet up with this person. And so at first I got there, I got a message from them saying that they wanted me to go to the shops so I can get them, well, Steam cards in that matter. And I first thought that was a little strange why they asked me for Steam cards, because I thought, why are they doing this to me? Mind you, bear in mind, I was talking to them on another app platform that they wanted me to install. I sillily listened to them and I sillily, which if I could look back on, not got so sucked into their words by doing what they did. And so pretty much I bought Steam cards. Now, this just wasn't one Steam card. This was a lot of Steam cards. And I felt so stupid to do that in that moment in time because my headspace wasn't that great. But I did it and I lost quite a bit of dollars in that regards. And after that experience, I was so mad with them and so furious that I wanted to try and get back what I could. And so I blocked them everywhere after that experience. Mind you, I was so panicking. I eventually rang up the bank to cancel my card and everything in between. I did get like a quarter of it back at that time, but I didn't get the full money. And this is something that I want everyone to take note, that do your thorough research. Now, I will say this, usually you can do a photo research on images, which I did, and nothing comes up. And that's the main thing. You can have images that will come up if it was a fake influencer or an influencer, but if the photos were fake in the regards of they're using it on their account. But some photos you can notice that mostly that they won't come up online at all. So they find ways of smartly trying to, I guess, hide the images from finding them online anywhere or some sort of way. And therefore that's what made me believe them as well. So eventually I blocked them. I tried to got what I got back, but I definitely was a learning experience. And what advice I can give to that is, make sure if you want to do it the old fashioned way, I got a money tin and I put my money into that. And so that way it wasn't in my bank. It was away from like in the digital platform, so I couldn't access it. And I put it into a money tin, and that actually worked out so perfectly for me because now I could have saved up and I still could do the trip to Canberra and to Adelaide, which bear in mind, I almost wasn't going to be able to go to Canberra because of this experience. So luckily I was able to bounce back on that and I learnt big time. And so in that experience, I have actually been going through a personal well-being experience where I'm going to admit this, that I've been seeing therapy, and I've also been seeking a doctor as well behind the scenes, which have helped me in so many ways. And I please recommend doing the same. If you're experiencing any traumatic experience, personal or anything like that, seek your nearest doctor or go see a therapist. There can be ways where you don't have to worry about, you can waiver or bulk bill is what we call here in Australia, or any type of way. I really recommend seeking help or even talking to your closest friends or family members. I will leave in the description below or somewhere on the screen phone numbers here in Australia that you can contact. And also, if you're overseas, to look for your nearest doctor or speak to a therapist, or there'll be a website that you can go seek to check out on. But I really hope this experience with my story can help others to try and not fall into the trap that I was in. And it was so incredibly bad. It left me distraught, emotional, damaged. The person made me felt so weak in myself that I did not forgive myself for some time because of that experience. So I really hope no one else does the same thing like what I did. And so between then and now, my mental well-being has been in a much better place. People, again, as I mentioned on TikTok, have really helped me get through this part because I was in so much pain. And now I'm feeling that if I can uplift anybody, that makes all the difference, and I have done my job exactly like I do on these videos that you guys see here. So that's all I wanted to say on that matter, but please seek help. What lays ahead for 2026? Well, a lot of things. I would like to make sure I continue on the positivity, continue uploading on this YouTube channel, and also the fact that I really want to just keep giving you guys the most awesomest content that I can deliver with you all. And I have been experiencing different locations over the years, and you guys have seen my journey since I've started, whether you've known me for years, months, or days, or even just recently. It's been such a wonderful time to be able to take you all to different places and inspire, that anywhere that you can go to, wherever you are in the world, that you can go and experience what it has to offer, whether it's traveling on a plane somewhere or going to seek a wonderful, lovely lookout. I really experienced that in I'm hoping to see where 2026 goes. I like to hope that it will be a much more learning, better experience, and I'm able to think a lot more properly on what I want to do. And I think that's something I want to take on board when going to the new year. And so I think it's a really great way to have the mind capacity of just be able to have goals and just keep them in mind in the process or whatever it may be. But I'm really, truly glad I got to experience 2025 with you all. Even though there was some slip-ups along the way, the positive experience was definitely having you guys, viewers, listening to me, watching me. It makes all the difference continuing doing what I do for a reason. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for this very mixed year, and I can't wait to dive into for 2026 with you all on whatever it may be in the long run. So I have been Granda. Thank you so much for watching this look back video, and let me know in the comments below how your 2025 experience was. Was it all over the place? Was it one of the best years? Was it one of your low years? Please let me know. And I'll see you all in 2026. Alrighty guys, you have a good one and take care. Love yourselves, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.